A busy edition of Our Town about ready to commence right here on 94.9 and 99.1 The River, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. Hi, I'm Darren, your host for the program. We will be talking with Decorah Police Chief Tricia Thein later on in the program. She'll talk about Iowa's new hands-free driving law and some new fireworks regulations coming up for the 3rd and 4th of July and for New Year's Eve as well. We'll talk to Decorah City Manager Travis Goedken. He'll tell us about some notifications Decorah City residents are receiving this week about updating water meters in their homes. Next week, Wednesday night, Ray Carver, a professional actor, will be performing in the upstairs of T-Bocks. He will do the life and times of Mark Twain. We'll preview that event brought to you by the Wenatchee County Historical Society. We'll talk about what's going on every Wednesday night and Sunday night in Ossian with Clark Goltz, and we'll give a little bit of a preview to the 175th birthday party coming up for Ossian in August. We will also talk to Dave Lawstuen, a little bit new of a twist on the Breakfast on the Farm. It's the Grill and Chill event coming up tomorrow at Iowa's Dairy Center, or I should say Saturday at Iowa's Dairy Center in Kilmer. But we'll kick off the program this morning. It's Laura Days in Burr this weekend, and we'll talk to the director of the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum, Barb Olson. She will start off this fun-filled edition of Our Town, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust, and you're listening to it on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. It's the annual Laura Days in Baroque coming up this weekend, and here to preview the event is Barb Olson. She is the director of the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum in Baroque, and obviously a fun time of year. Barb, let's just run down the schedule. From what I understand, things will get going a little bit on Friday night. Is that correct?
That's right. There is bingo at the patio in Barney's Bar and Grill on Friday night.
And then live music following that. Looks like a full day of activities on Saturday. A little bit of something for everyone. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, it's a very full day. We've added a few activities that we brought back from years ago, and so with the help of a lot of volunteers, we've got a lot going on this year.
And then let's look at some of the events going on Sunday. Run down some of those events for us.
On Saturday, we open up for tours at 10 o'clock. The gift shop will be open, and we just moved our gift shop and our visitor center from the Baroque Bank building, where it used to be, into the Baroque Mercantile on the corner. So we've got a very large space this year. We'll have the children's activities set up in the park. There are games and crafts and hands-on activities until the parade starts. And then after the parade, we have Cindy Wilson, who will be presenting. She calls her presentation The Hard Winter of 1880 through 81. That is the year that the Ingalls endured blizzards, which Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote about in The Long Winter. We also have a young man, this will be new for us this year. We have a young man from Polk City, Iowa, who will portray Laura's teacher, Mr. William Reed, in our schoolhouse. And he will be in and out during the day because he's also going to help run some games in the park. For instance, a tug of war and a three-legged race and what have you. In the afternoon, we've got a pie auction followed by the announcement of the new Little Miss Laura. We're going to recognize some volunteers of the year. We have fiddle music from one of our pioneer girls, a 12-year-old girl from Waukon and her sister. Something new this year, we're going to have a pie eating contest.
Hmm.
This is a fundraiser for the museum. So it does cost $5 to enter, and the first 5 children under 12 that enter are in the contest, and then we have, or the first 10 children, and then the first 10 adults that register. And this is a fundraiser to help us continue with the restoration of the mercantile. So that is new this year. There's live music. The Buck Hollow Band will be at Barney's at 6 o'clock at the night. So that's kind of the rundown of Saturday.
And the fun continues on Sunday.
Yes, on Sunday we have a gospel music service with Brad Boyce, who is internationally known as an Elvis impersonator, has won many, many awards as that, but he has a wonderful gospel program that lasts about an hour that will be held outside also on the patio and in the street in front of Barney's Bar and Grill. And the rain location is the Burr Lutheran Church. And then we continue in the afternoon with tours of the hotel.
All right. You mentioned, of course, obviously this weekend Baroque gets a lot of attention with the Laura Days, but with the museum itself, you mentioned a couple of projects you got going on. You've shifted some things around. What's new at the museum overall?
New at the museum is that, as I said, we moved over to the Baroque Mercantile, what was used to be as the Mercantile, the Baroque Bank building where our gift shop and visitor center used to be will become the Baroque History Center. And we're still in the process of getting that set up. We're not quite ready, but the building is open so that people can walk through the original bank vault. The museum itself, we've got displays to look at. We've got a lot of signage in there so that anybody can take their time to walk through and take pictures of the signage and read later so that that just brings back the tour to them. And of course, the Mercantile was our big project of the year. We're still in the process of working on it, but it's ready for visitors. It's a beautiful building and a lot of changes from what people might remember back in the 1950s or 60s, 70s.
And I know a lot of people will come up for Laura Days this weekend, but tell us what the regular hours are for the museum for folks that may not have the opportunity to come up this weekend, but want to tour one of the great spots here in Winnebago County.
Well, we opened the museum on May 1st. In May, we're not open on Sunday. Monday through Saturday, we're open from 10 until 4. During the summer months, we are open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and on Sunday, noon until 4. Then come in September, we cut back our hours. We're only open on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
All right, Barb, anything we're missing about Laura Days this weekend or about the museum itself?
No, but we hope that everybody comes out and sees us. We have a lot of things going on. It should be very exciting, and it looks like the weather might clear up by Saturday. So we're looking forward to a great day.
And that's always a victory when Mother Nature helps out as well. Barb, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk about Laura Days this weekend. Hopefully, everybody has a good time in Baroque. And as always, we appreciate your time.
No, thank you, Darren.
Barb Olson with the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum. Laura Days coming up this weekend in Baroque. June is Dairy Month, and every year there is an event at the Iowa Dairy Center, just south of the NICC campus in Kilmer, and it's under a new name this year. And here to tell us all about it, the event coming up this weekend is Dave Lawstuen. He is with the NICC Dairy Center and the Northeast Iowa Dairy and Agriculture Foundation. Dave, what's going to be the same about the event? What's going to be new and different this year?
Well, what's going to be the same of the event, of course, it's going to be the fourth Saturday in June. That's been our tradition. And so it'll be this upcoming Saturday, June 28th. And this year, it's going to be a grill and chill versus a breakfast on the farm. We're looking more of centered at a taste of Iowa picnic is kind of our focus. It's going to run from 10 to 2. And we will have the Lynch Livestock out of Oklahoma will be grilling their pork burgers. The Winnebago County Cattlemen will be grilling our beef hamburgers. We actually have locally grown corn chips to go along with that, provided by Warren Steinloggy down there in West Union. And of course, the Winnebago County Dairy promoters are also going to be providing the ice cold milkshakes.
And as for showing off what you do at Iowa's Dairy Center, I'd imagine a lot of that is going to remain the same this year as well.
100%. Every year we do surveys, and it consistently comes back. The favorite part, along with the delicious food and the atmosphere, it's riding the trams. Trams with farmer led. So farmers are on the trams with our guests, explaining agriculture, talking about the dairy center, and we also remember we do have the beef center as well.
Yeah.
So not only will they see the dairy herd, the robotic milking, they'll also see our beef operation as well.
And what else will be going on besides the tram tours and, of course, the food? Other things will be going on Saturday. What tops that list?
Well, I think what tops it, it's new this year, is we're going to have live music. We think that's appropriate for a picnic-like setting. So the Bruce Behringer Band out of Owine will be performing. I believe Bruce is going to be performing from 10 to 1. Um, so, and then of course we'll also a hit every year is our petting zoo. And so that will be highlighted by our calves. But what's new this year, and we're excited about this, is the Humane Society out of Decorah will actually be bringing some puppies and kittens for the kids to observe and actually do some demonstrations with them. Also new, in the last year, we remodeled our museum from the original museum that was done back in 2000. Um, that project has been completed, and Dr. Kent Nelson out of Decorah, who was really our champion of that, is going to be giving guided tours of the museum at 11 o'clock and at 1 p.m. And there's so much in that museum, but what Kent really excelled in and was identifying Iowa dairy pioneers, and there's a story to tell about each one. So looking forward to that. Here at the Dairy Center, we've got a net zero carbon initiative. We call it Corn, Cows, and Conservation. And we'll be giving a presentation to the public on all the conservation activities. We're trying to be a canvas for conservation. That'll be at noon. So we're packing a lot in and looking for a good crowd. Darren's going to guarantee us good weather, and we're excited.
I'll do the best I can on that guarantee, but we'll make a couple of phone calls throughout the week. We'll put it that way, Dave. You mentioned all the new things going on at Iowa's Dairy Center. How do you keep things up to date at the Dairy Center? How do you keep evolving? How do you keep things fresh, if you will?
Well, I think I mean that's critical. That we have to maintain our relevance. Excuse me, our relevance, and so some of the changes that have happened that the public will see is that we no longer milk in the parlor. Is that we're 100% robotic milking. Um, as I mentioned, the conservation side, they're actually hosting a field day here today with Iowa State Extension. Um, is we've gone to a 3 crop in 2-year rotation, very highly digestible fiber. We think that's the key. Of course, ruminants, of course, we all know that ruminants need their fiber, but the more highly digestible we can get, the healthier the cows are going to be, the more milk we're going to get, and I think it's better off for the environment in general. So a lot of things going on. The other change that the public that our repeat customers that will be coming back this year is in order to move to 3 robots, is we no longer could have 2 different breeds because of the body size. So the Holsteins, of course, average about 1,500 pounds. Jerseys average right around that 1,000 pounds. So we had to disperse the jerseys. So the jerseys are no longer on site. For those of you that travel and are familiar with uh, the large dairy Fair Oaks out there in Indiana, 25,000 cows there, a tourist, again, promotion of the dairy industry. So Fair Oaks actually has a farm here in Iowa, and all the jerseys went to Fair Oaks. So they actually ended up at a very good home. But those of you who come on Saturday, you'll only see Holsteins.
All right, and I guess overall hours for the event. Let's remind folks of that.
Yeah, 10 to 2. Again, trying to hit that midday. People can have enjoy the morning, come spend your midday with us, and you still have your evening for all kinds of fun.
All right. Anything else folks need to know about the event coming up on Saturday, or anything else with the Iowa Dairy Center?
Well, the only thing else I'd add is it is a free event. There's no charge. We'll be asking for free will donations, but come on out, enjoy yourself. You got a favorite lawn chair, maybe bring that along. We'll have picnic tables set up, but a lot of green space to enjoy a Saturday.
And as we are talking, I looked ahead to the forecast. It says a 30% chance of rain on Saturday. That, of course, means there's a 70% chance it won't rain on Saturday. So that's the best I can do. Is that okay, Dave?
Yeah, we'll appreciate any help we can get.
All right, Dave. Appreciate the time and the information that you provided. Best of luck with the event on Saturday.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
Dave Lawstuen with the Iowa Dairy Center and the Northeast Iowa Dairy Foundation. It's coming up on Saturday. The name of the event this year is Grill and Chill on the Farm from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Having a conversation right now with Clark Goltz, and when we have Clark on, you know, fun things are happening in the community of Ossian. Always fun things happening in the community of Ossian. And what do you have up your sleeve besides big muscles right now, Clark?
Well, I want to thank you for complimenting my muscles, Darren. But really, what we do have, we're talking about the 2025 summer performances at the Pavilion. This year, we have 3 movies and 16 live performances throughout the summer in that big suburb of Decorah, Ossian, Iowa.
And tell us about some of the entertainment that folks can see and when that entertainment will occur.
You got it. Well, like I mentioned, we have movies and we have live performances and so forth. The first one we actually started last night. We had a movie, and that was, of course, you can bring your lawn chairs, your blankets, and there's always some little snacks and treats when you go to a movie under the skies in Ossian. But the big thing we have coming up this weekend is the first time performance of the South Winneshiek High School. They're going to be doing a play at the Pavilion, rain site at the Calmer High School, Southwind High School, but it's called Holy Mother of Bingo. Yes, it's one of those murder mysteries that occurs in the basement of the church in the middle of an intense bingo game.
I see. And what time will that get going this weekend?
Those are both at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on Friday, 7 o'clock this coming Saturday, and then they do have another performance on Sunday, but at the same time we have another event that evening. So 7 on Friday, 7 on Saturday, and 2 o'clock at Southwind High School in Calmer.
And one
great cast, great story, very funny, and they are serving brownies and little treats in between, just like you'd have at a bingo.
And why wouldn't you? I mean,
exactly.
I mean, all the fun and all the treats and all the homemade goodies of bingo. And that's the next entertainment on the docket. What's the next musical entertainment that will be coming?
The next one is going to be that following Sunday. And that's going to be a performance by, I don't know if you've heard of them, Norwegian Bachelor Farmers. Have you heard of them? I have,
actually.
They are excellent. That's Kyle Ellsburn, actually from the Decorah area. And they're going to be performing on Sunday at 5 o'clock in the Pavilion.
Is there a place where we can go to get this entertainment if folks are interested?
Absolutely. A lot of it is in fact, all of it is on the City of Ossian Facebook and website. And also the Ossian Crown Club has a Facebook page and, of course, a website. We also are promoting it through the Decorah Area Chamber of Commerce and, of course, all of our local media like KVIK.
You bet, and we're happy to be on board. And the best part of all that entertainment, the price is right.
You got it. You can't beat free.
No, you can't, especially in today's economy.
It's free, Darren, is because we have the City of Ossian, local area businesses and individuals who really help promote all that. But we've got a whole list of some of the same returning live entertainment we've had before and also new ones. Chris Carr is new. We also have, I want to mention one more thing, and that's the Ossian's 170th anniversary coming up August 8, 9, and 10.
You're getting ahead on the cue card end of things. I was
really?
mention that the cue card guy is yelling at you right now.
Oh,
let's try that again. Take 2. Clark, I understand there's a big party coming up in August in Ossian. What are you going to be celebrating?
You know what we're going to do? We're going to celebrate Ossian's 175th anniversary. And we have got 3 days of entertainment, food, drink, contests, prizes, everything. And again, Darren, the whole thing for that weekend, except for beverages you might choose to drink and the food that you might want to eat, is free of charge. And we have a band on Friday night. We have 2 bands on Saturday afternoon, and we have a Saturday night performance of Corey Farley, who came last year and is a huge crowd pleaser. And we even have an ecumenical service on Sunday morning with a couple of people and some free donuts and drinks.
And as the days get closer, I'm sure we'll have another conversation on our Art Sound program about that. Anything else you want to mention, as long as you've got the forum this morning? With a guy like you, this is a dangerous thing. We might be talking for a half an hour.
That's a really dangerous thing, Guy, but we go, as I said, we started last night, and we'll go all the way through just before school starts. The Wednesday before school starts, we'll have our final little movie. And that's something that almost every Sunday and Wednesday night in Ossian, free of charge, Curry's Park, right on Highway 52. Bring your lawn chair, bring your blanket, bring your laughter, bring your music, and enjoy the 2025 summer performances at the Pavilion.
And those are going on. Of course, Ossian's 175th celebration coming up in August. Always fun to head down to Ossian. Always fun stuff going on. And the guy that keeps us up to date on everything going on in Ossian is Mr. Clark Goltz. Clark, thanks for the time. As always, thanks for the knowledge.
Thank you very much, Darren. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Clark Goltz, music going on, performances going on at Carey Park, and of course a slight preview, a bigger preview coming up down the road of the 175th anniversary of Ossian in August. We are having a conversation right now with professional actor Ray Carver, and he will be making an appearance next Wednesday night in Decorah. He will be recounting the story of Mark Twain and life on the Mississippi. Ray, tell us how you got interested in Mark Twain and how you took his story and got the ability to take it to another level with this performance coming up next week.
Well, actually, I kind of fell into Mark Twain. Back in '84, the theater I was running down in Des Moines was asked to participate in the Capitol Centennial celebration. And we were sitting at a board meeting going, well, what are we going to do? It needs to be something about Iowa in that. We threw out a whole bunch of ideas. And then somebody said, what about Mark Twain? He lived in Keokuk and Muscatine for a while. And all of a sudden, all eyes turned to me because throughout my life, especially as I've gotten older, I look more and more like Mark Twain. Back in '84, I had to put on a fair amount of makeup to age myself, but now I'm not using any makeup at all. And then in 1991, I premiered the show I'm going to be doing at T-Bocks on Wednesday, July 2nd, Life on the Mississippi, out at Living History Farms in Des Moines, and got rave reviews for the show. And I've been playing it ever since throughout the Midwest and along the East Coast.
And tell us about the show itself. What does it all entail without, of course, giving away too many spoilers?
Well, what it entails is basically Mark Twain comes out and he starts to tell a lecture on morals, but decides he's tired of teaching all that sort of stuff. He's done that so many times that he just decides he's going to talk about what sort of things he really wanted to do in his life. And the big thing was to be a steamboat pilot. And so Twain recounts becoming a steamboat pilot and all the troubles that he had to push his memory to memorize every little thing about the Mississippi River, which he does finally succeed in doing. And in the second act, Twain talks about revisiting the river years later and seeing how the river has changed and how some of the people have changed and some of them haven't, including in Iowa.
And I guess explain a little bit more about Mark Twain's connection to Iowa, because obviously most of us that look at it from an arm's length distance realize his connection along the Mississippi River. I guess I never realized he actually lived in the state of Iowa. Go into that in a little bit more detail.
Well, yeah. Twain started out in Hannibal, Missouri, and his connection came about because his brother Orion moved to Iowa, down in Muscatine and then Keokuk. And Twain ended up going to work for his brother in his brother's print shop up there. And also, as the family grew older, his mother went up to live with Orion in Muscatine, as I recall, and stayed up there for many years. Also, Mark Twain's first public lecture was given in Keokuk back in 1857. He was giving a speech on honoring Ben Franklin's birthday, because Ben Franklin was a well-known printer, and he was giving this speech for a printers association.
All right. Give us some background on your professional career as a professional actor. You told us how you kind of fell into this Mark Twain character, but give us some more of your resume as an actor. How did you decide that this was the right path for you?
Well, I guess it goes all the way back when I was growing up. My mother, when she was growing up, always went to movies. And so as myself and my brother and sister grew up, that was another thing we do. And I was like, wow, movies are so neat. And originally I wanted to go into film, but then I'm going, you know what? I like the stage. And I went up and worked in the Twin Cities for a few years. And then I finally said, you know what? I'm being successful here, but as I'm getting older, I'm finding that I need health insurance and a pension. And so, like many people, I ended up turning into another profession. I chose teaching and have taught around the country. And as I did that, I've also ended up continuing my professional work with theaters, and mostly I've done theater work and then performing Mark Twain, and then also I do a show of Dickens telling the story of A Christmas Carol over the years. And I also appeared in the movie Lincoln that Steven Spielberg made down in Richmond, Virginia. I was in Richmond at the time, and they were looking for they were casting extras. And so I put in my name for that, and I worked a few days on that movie. Now, my wife and all my friends are sure they see me in the movie, especially towards the very end in this shot with Daniel Day-Lewis's Lincoln, and it's the second inauguration. I'm going, I don't know about that, but I did find myself in the coffee table book that went along with the movie.
Is it one of those scenes that maybe you have to pause it on the TV to see you, or is it in passing, but you can document that you were actually there as part of the filming and everything like that, and that has to be a little bit of a thrill for you, right?
Yeah. My wife says it's real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say there were several scenes that I was in that just got cut on the, cutting room floor. This was one thing I kind of kicked myself about. They were shooting in December down in Richmond, and so it was coming up on time to get kids ready for some standardized testing. And they called for me to come in and work one day, and I said, no, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I've got to get some students ready for some standardized testing that's coming up at the end of the week. And they said, well, we'll give you a call next time we need it. So a couple of days later, they called me, and I went into work. and I was talking with some of the other fellows around, waiting for the scene to be shot. And they said, "Oh, yeah, you should have been here the other day because we sat around the governor's mansion and we smoked cigars with Hal Holbrook." And he was well known for playing Mark Twain for many, many years. And unfortunately, it was like I was just so close to doing a scene with Hal Holbrook, but no, I didn't get to. But I did get a chance to meet Hal Holbrook back in 2013 when I attended the Mark Twain Quadrennial Conference up in Elmira, New York at the college there. And that was a great thrill to talk with him.
A very interesting story that you bring to the table there, and a lot of your life stories on that end of things. How often do you perform this Mark Twain Life on the Mississippi that you will be performing next week in Decorah?
Oh, boy, I don't know. I've kind of lost count. I usually do several shows a year because of playing Charles Dickens. I tend to limit my time when I can do Mark Twain shows to just the summertime,
Okay.
for a couple of months, because I need to grow a big goatee for Charles Dickens. I did try playing Dickens one year with a false beard. The only problem is that I had hairballs for about a week or so. And so I said, never again. You just got to stop, offering one show and start growing the beard for the other one.
All right, your show will be next Wednesday. T-Bocks upstairs, 6:30. Tickets are $15. Available at Dragonfly Books, the Decorah Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Campi Soda Shop, which is located at 404 West Water Street. The event sponsored by the Wenatchee County Historical Society and the Oneota Valley Literary Foundation. Ray, give us one final invitation for folks to come out to T-Bocks next Wednesday night.
Well, folks, I hope you come and see it. We had a great crowd for Charles Dickens back in December there in Decorah, and everybody enjoyed it. And I know when I've been up to Decorah, I've had people stopping me on the street and going, "I just love to see Charles Dickens." And I told them that I would be performing Mark Twain, and they say, "I'm not going to miss that." So please come see it. I think you're going to have a good time. And what's better to start the 4th of July holiday than to spend an evening with Mark Twain?
Nothing more American than that, if you ask me. Ray, we appreciate you taking some time to tell us about the performance next Wednesday night. Safe travels to Decorah next week, and we hope you enjoy our stay in our community.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the radio. I appreciate it.
Ray Carver is performing. Having a conversation right now with Decorah City Manager Travis Goedken, and this is pretty much going to be a one-issue conversation based on a notification that many Decorah residents will be receiving either this week or next week. What is said notification, Travis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Darren, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me and talk about this. I had tried to do some lead up in the last couple of council meetings, and want to make sure everyone is well aware. You're going to be receiving actually 3 letters in total, but you possibly have already received that letter or will be receiving your first letter here shortly from a company called HydroCorp. They are the community that will be they're the company that will be performing a citywide meter replacement project for us. Largely so that we can upgrade our water metering system and our utility billing as a whole. So you're going to get this letter. It's going to be from HydroCorp. It's going to have the City of Decorah logo as well. It is valid. It's not scamming you, but we do want to encourage, if anyone receives something like this and you have questions, please feel free to give ourselves a call to verify, but this one is legitimate. So,
and this, not to interrupt you, but this is something you will be getting through the mail. You're not getting this through a text message or an email or anything like that, correct?
Correct. Yes, this is coming through USPS. It'll come through regular mail, It's going to reference a June 30th start date, which is just their start in general. Doesn't mean you have to be ready to go that first week. All in all, this will take probably 8 to 10 weeks total for the citywide replacement. But if you can get early on their schedule, that's certainly appreciated. And as I said, you can get up to 3 letters as a result of this. So the sooner you get those scheduled, the better. You can either schedule by phone or online for certain blocks, whether the AM works better for you, the afternoon, or even early evening as well. Again, this is largely a part of a citywide effort to upgrade and improve our utility billing software. This will allow us to go to a monthly billing once all the meters are installed across the city. This will allow easier time to budget for customers. It'll result in the city's ability to find leaks for the customer faster. Just last month we had a resident that ended up with a $1,500 utility bill because they had a leak that they didn't catch that had been running for quite some time, since we only bill quarterly at this point. It will also allow residents to view their monthly bill history, and their water usage online, and also receive bills via email and pay through an online portal direct, which we have the ability to take online payments now, but you got to type in manually all your information. This will have it already there for you.
And when you look at getting these installed, do you have to get together maybe with your neighbors to maybe get a block done at a time or a street done at a time? Or can you do this kind of household by household?
Yep. So this will be done household by household, just scheduled with your own time to sign up for a block. And then by signing up for those blocks, the HydroCorp will use that to assign, they believe, 5 to 6 employees that'll be here doing the install based on who's scheduled for which blocks. Those employees will be wearing badges and identifiable clothing that, again, it'll say HydroCorp. The only thing that the residents need to do in advance of this project, aside from signing up for a scheduled time block, is shutoffs. We got to make sure shutoffs are operational, because if you're trying to replace a water meter, you need to be able to shut that water off. That's the only thing that we ask.
Is this costing residents anything?
It does not. Not directly. Obviously, it's the city water utility where there's not profit generated off of it, and all the revenues come from all our users. So there are costs associated with the operation, but we do believe at the end of the day, it'll result in better protections for our individual users.
And is there a deadline to get this done?
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the expectation is that this will be done in 8 to 10 weeks. Would like to get people signed up and replaced sooner rather than later, because as these, once we're able to bring all customers online with the new meters, we will then change over to monthly billing and make a couple other changes, but we can't do that until we've got everyone cut over.
Anything we're missing on the water main change or the water change coming up, I guess?
Yeah. Nope. We were able to hit all the topics here. And just again, if you ever come across with something like this that just doesn't quite look right, I do urge residents, go ahead, give us a call to verify. But HydroCorp, this is on behalf of the city.
As long as you got a couple minutes here, anything else you want to pass on from the city perspective?
Well, one thing I might add that's also part of a water main and Hively Street project is if you are coming down to the municipal building here, please be extra cautious, as the crews are still working right out in front of City Hall. And a reminder, we do have a parking lot in the back of the building that can be accessed either off of Goose Island or Hively Street next to the fire station. And we'd strongly encourage everybody to use the rear entrance at this point.
All right. Appreciate the time as always, Travis. Get those water meters up to date, Decorah City residents, and I'm sure we'll talk to you in the very near future, sir.
I'm sure we will. Thanks, Darren.
Travis Goedken, Decorah City Manager, about the city changing and updating the water meters to make things more efficient for you, the customer.
Okay.
Beginning next week, the state of Iowa will have a new hands-free driving law, and to break it down with us is Decorah Police Chief Tricia Thein. And Tricia, tell us about this new law that passed the legislature and was signed by Governor Reynolds. How does it change what's on the books currently?
Well, really, what it's going to do is eliminate any device from being within your hand. Even a mounted device in your vehicle can only be used in a one touch, like if you could touch it to accept a call and then just utilize that cellular device by voice activation, that's acceptable. Anything beyond that one touch is going to be considered a violation. As a matter of fact, if you're looking at a screen watching a video play or something other than something that distracts you and keeps your eyes off the road and onto your device, that would also be considered a violation.
And from what I understand, there's going to be a little bit of a phase-in period when it comes to actual penalties and fines related to this. Is that correct?
Yes, there's going to be a 6-month education period. It's going to be an interesting law to enforce. It's going to really require us to be very watchful of the driver of the car, the driver themselves. Oftentimes, we've been looking for moving violations of the vehicle and then making a traffic stop based on that. So this is really also going to be putting our attention on the driver of that vehicle and to ensure that they're not manipulating a cellular device or another device. So we'll have a 6-month education period for drivers as well as for police. And after that, then you could be seeing fines of $100 or more, depending on if that distracted driving resulted in a crash where serious injury or fatalities occurred.
Would that go as a moving violation by itself, or would the moving violation be connected to another offense?
Connected to another offense. However, I would see a change that this is very easily going to be considered a moving violation, and that this is going to definitely, it's distracted driving. It's bottom line, it's about saving lives. And so the overall game of public safety is to save lives. And I would imagine insurance carriers with enough distracted driving charges on your background are going to start, you're going to see that impact on your insurance rates for certain.
To be fair to law enforcement officers, how difficult will this be to enforce, to catch? How good of a view do you have of a driver within a car and what they're doing?
Well, interestingly enough, I see this oftentimes at stoplights and at stop signs, or if you've ever been behind somebody at a green light and they're not going, it's because their attention is on something other than the green light in front of them. So with the dash cameras within our vehicles and with the body cameras that we have on, it's really not going to be as hard as some people might think that it would be for us to capture. The other thing, when we participate in the Governor Traffic Safety Bureau Special Traffic Enforcement Program, we put 2 or 3 officers out at a time to engage in that special traffic enforcement. So that does allow us to have one person be watchful and then radio that information to another officer to ensure that our stops are done safely and we're not trying to turn around in traffic, to be able to stop that offender and educate them, like we said, for the first 6 months on just why it's so important. Last year, over the July 4th weekend, we had 9 fatalities in the state of Iowa. If we even look at making, a 10% impact on crashes, think of the property damage we could save and really the loss of life that we could prevent by just choosing to be present and conscientious in our vehicle when we're operating it.
How big of an issue is distracted driving?
It's huge. And people are not always just distracted by cellular devices. They get distracted because they're talking with friends that are in the car. They get distracted because they're trying to change the radio station on the car. They get distracted because we've had people spill their coffee and they're reaching for napkins, and that results in a crash. And so there are a lot of ways that drivers can be distracted. And our focus really in the state of Iowa, from enforcement to education to the enactment of new laws, things passing legislation, is to get drivers to be responsible. You are operating a vehicle down a roadway that has the potential to kill, and recognizing that and taking that seriously as we should be makes all the difference in the world.
And you mentioned that 10% reduction. If you can even do that, what will that save people? Ultimately, lives are one of the biggest things, but when it comes to property damage, injuries, etc., what would even a 10% reduction in distracted driving crashes save us?
be considerable. The dollar amount, I don't think has even been assigned to that, but I can assure you that drivers would start to see the impact of that savings in their insurance premiums, because somebody has to pick up that cost somewhere. And so having these laws enacted is going to put that responsibility, or that blame, if you will, for the crash into one party's hands. So they will start to pick up the cost of those crashes when it's distracted driving related.
You touched on you seeing it at stoplights and stop signs. If you're doing this at a stoplight and a stop sign and your car isn't moving, is it still a violation?
It is still a violation, yes. Stoplight, stop signs. Again, your eyes are off the roadway. Your eyes are off the vehicle that's in front of you. Your eyes are off the traffic light that's signaling you to go or to stop. And so, yes, our expectation is that you're 100% present and engaged in your driving and not lost in your phone somewhere.
And that's what we have on that issue. Of course, 4th of July, a weekend coming up, and it's close to a weekend this year as it lands on a Friday. And there's some new fireworks restrictions in the state of Iowa, or I guess lack thereof, probably the more accurate statement. Explain that new legislation related to fireworks on I believe, the 3rd and 4th of July, correct?
Well, the 3rd and the 4th of July and December 31st. So
Okay.
three big times where people really want to celebrate. We recognize the need and the desire to celebrate within the community. So the state of Iowa has removed the ability of municipalities to restrict the use of fireworks on July 3rd, July 4th, and December 31st. So there's some time-specific regulation that's put out by the state. So July 3rd, you can shoot off fireworks from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. On July 4th, you can go from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And on December 31st, rolling over into January 1st, you can shoot off fireworks from 9 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. on the 1st. This must be done on private property. So there's still some rules pertaining to it, but you can shoot off the fireworks in your backyard. We really want safety to be paramount for folks that are doing this. Recognize that some of these fireworks are meant for licensed professional fireworks folks to put off, because the explosive capacity is huge. And so we do want safety to be key as people are enjoying their holidays with the fireworks.
And of course, when it comes to fireworks, they can land in your neighbor's yard. Debris from the fireworks can land in your neighbor's yard. How important is it to be neighborly if you're going to do something like this?
I think it's hugely important. Again, we all recognize the desire and to celebrate, I guess, the July 4th holiday. We all want to do that. However, if you're living in a residential neighborhood and you have neighbors on either side, bringing them into the know before your planned celebration is good. But recognize what goes up must come down. And most of the time, the beginning of July, it's hot and dry. And so hot embers falling from certain fireworks landing on your neighbor's roof could present a fire hazard, number one, for them. It also could present some complaints that the police department might have to come out and manage through to resolve between you and your neighbor. And so we should just, again, be very conscientious of our neighbors that we live next door to. We also recognize that our neighbors have animals, and there might be somebody with some PTSD within our neighborhood. We want to be cognizant and neighborly about those issues as well.
All right, those are the two issues that were on the top of my notebook. Any other thing you want to pass on to the public, as long as you got the forum this morning?
Yeah, as long as I have the stage, I'll say a couple things. Let's really be cognizant of the heat. We're all recognizing it when we're outside and thinking about a trip to the pool. But let's remember, as we're leaving animals and children in a car, even when we think the car is running and the air conditioning is on, there can be mechanical failures in the car, and people will contact police. If police respond to those things, we have to act accordingly, and we will enter a car, locked or otherwise, to retrieve an animal or a child if the situation warrants that. So just be cognizant of that. We really want everybody to have a happy, healthy, safe summer here with us in Decorah.
All right, Tricia, we appreciate you taking some time and making us more educated on a couple of matters that passed the Iowa legislature this year. We appreciate the time and the knowledge and the information, as always, and we thank you and everyone with the Decorah Police Department for what you do to keep our community a great one and a safe one.
Thank you so much, Darren.
Chief Tricia Thein with the Decorah Police Department, updating you on some new regulations coming to the state of Iowa July 1st. Thank you for joining us on the show. Go in this particular order: Barb Olson from the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum. Laura Day is coming up this week in Baroque. I want to thank Dave Lawstuen from the Iowa Dairy Center. It's Grill and Chill, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Iowa Dairy Center, just south of the Northeast Iowa Community College campus in Kelmer on Saturday. Clark Goltz, always fun things going on in the city of Ossian. More fun things coming up with the 175th birthday coming up in August. We want to thank Ray Carver. He will be performing at T-Bocks next week. Life on the Mississippi, the life and times of Mark Twain. Ray will be performing at 6:30. Various places you can get tickets for that, including the Decorah Chamber of Commerce and Dragonfly Books. I want to thank Travis Goedken notifying us of notifications City of Decorah residents are getting regarding updating their water meters, and Tricia Thein, the police chief in Decorah, discussing the new hands-free law in the state of Iowa, and plus some new fireworks regulations as well. We put the shows on YouTube each and every week. You're busy, it's summer. A lot of things going on. You're going this way, you're going that way. You're going every which way but loose. Might not always have time to turn that radio on or turn that streaming device on or a smart speaker on at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, but we talked to 6 very interesting people this morning, and we want to bring those conversations to you on your schedule. Go to 626 Our Town program if you're out searching things on YouTube. We also put up the links on each and every one of our LA Communications Facebook pages, because that's the way we do our best to stay in touch with our communities, because without doing that and without you on the other end, none of this makes sense. So we appreciate you always being on the other end. We appreciate our guest for joining us on the show this morning. As always, we appreciate Decorah Bank and Trust for sponsoring the program, and we thank you, that's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.